You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.
Hey, what's going on, man? This is Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach. And I'm here with you for another edition of Coffee with Rhadi. I told you that I'm penning a book right now, and I like to get some of my thoughts out and some of my podcasts and some of my videos. And I spoke with you yesterday about one of the lessons that I learned as a fullback in college, and the relationship that most of us have with the fullback position. Most of us don't get recruited as fullbacks, we get recruited as tailbacks or running backs. And then our role in terms of running the ball is reduced when we get to the college level. Or people come as a tight end or a linebacker, then they get moved to fullback. Well, I learned the lesson that I want to talk to you about today, which has really helped me a great deal in parenting. And that lesson that I learned as a fullback was the self-sacrifice. I learned that you have to sacrifice yourself for your teammates. You have to sacrifice yourself for the running back. You have to sacrifice yourself for others. And it is a very, very tough job to put yourself in a position to sacrifice yourself when you come from the position of a running back, when you really think about self-preservation when you have the ball. As a running back, when you have the ball, you think about, how can I not take as many blows? How can I get out of bounds? How can I gain as much yards as possible? How can I protect the ball? As a fullback, you think, how can I protect my quarterback? How can I protect my tailback? How can I make sure that nobody penetrates the line of scrimmage? Sometimes I'm the last line of defense for the offensive line. And sometimes, especially in our offensive scheme at Howard University, I had to also be like a second quarterback reading the defensive fronts. And those are all the things that I did without getting a pat on the back that I was used to getting as a running back. Now, I was a running back in the first 2 years, a tailback as a freshman and a sophomore. Then when I became a junior, I was transferred to fullback. Younger guys came in, they were a step faster, they weren't as big, hadn't spent as much time in the weight room as I spent, and the place for these individuals to play so they can maximize their productivity while also maximizing my productivity. And my ego was not taken into consideration, and I felt really bad about that at the time. But I had to learn how to become, as I talked about yesterday, a team player. And then in that, I had to learn self-sacrifice. And you need to learn self-sacrifice along with self-abnegation, along with self-conceit, and along with, the diminishing of your ego. Man, that's a rough part. I don't care what anybody says. That's a rough part, because the ego is not a negative thing. You have to have a healthy sense of ego. You have to exist, to thrive, to excel. But then there's also a point where you can go too far and you don't understand that the team needs you to reduce your me so that we can increase our we. And I had to really do that through self-sacrifice. And let me tell you, the best drill that we had in football that teaches you self-sacrifice is that Oklahoma drill. They don't run the Oklahoma drill much. I watch my son's football team, and they're a little bit candy. You understand what I'm saying? I think they all right, but it's a little candy. It's not as hard as I would expect it to be, but the game has changed significantly. I lose my keys all the time, and I'm wondering if I have a little early onset of something. I don't want to speak nothing over my life, but I got hit in the head a lot. I played games with full concussions, headaches, all type of stuff. I remember taking 1,600 milligrams before a game for the headache that I had that was still rolling over from a Wednesday. It was a very different time then. The Oklahoma drill, for those people who don't know football, it's a running back, there's a fullback, there's a quarterback who's handing off to the running back, and then there's a linebacker. And the fullback and the linebacker smash into each other full speed. The fullback is 5 yards away off the ball. The linebacker is about 6.5, 7 yards off the ball. There's no question about where the ball is going. There's only 3 people in the drill that are in the drill, and the quarterback is handing the ball off. And let me tell you something. If you don't understand self-sacrifice, you will understand it that day. Because on that day, you will realize that it is your responsibility to sacrifice your body, no matter how you end up, so that tailback can get to the end zone. It doesn't matter if you hit the linebacker and you move forward. It doesn't matter if the linebacker blows you up and you go back. Your job is to not allow that linebacker to run free and clear, and to basically kill yourself in the process so that somebody else can live. You have a small Jesus moment. And sometimes you will hang your head and die. But you will learn self-sacrifice. And I carried that lesson over into parenting. Staying up late at night, doing homework. Going to urgent care when somebody nicks their eyebrow on the edge of the counter. Staying up late, feeding children. Laying in the bed with sick children. And then you get sick too. And then you learn self-sacrifice in parenting. But I got that good lesson in football first, and I was able to apply it in the rest of my life. Let me hear what somebody else says. Oh, Brent. Yeah, Brent, listen. Brent, that Oklahoma drill, the only thing that was close to Oklahoma drill was that inside drill. We had Oklahoma drill, and then inside drill is when we just add the salt and pepper to the equation. Inside drill, now we do the same drill, and then we add the lineman to it. That is the inside drill. So I know Brent Hughes is waiting for me to tell my story. It's a story that there's a lot of famous stories at Howard University on the football team. There was one dude that we used to call Hey Baby. And I don't know his name to this day, but every time he used to walk up to a woman, he used to say, "Hey, baby, So we used to call him Hey, Baby. There's another famous story. Our former roommate, Dr. G. Stewart, who got in a fight during his freshman year. He beat up a dude from D.C., and when he got done, he said, "Hey, I'm from Alabama. I don't play that shit." And that's another famous story. The other famous story at Howard University during practice is when Mark Christie put Rhadi Ferguson out of practice. Not only out of practice, out of commission and out of the season. We were running a play called 22 Lead at the time, where I'm going to tell on you, Dante Reed. But Dante Reed was supposed to go forward and hit Mark Christie, but Dante didn't go forward and hit Mark Christie. Dante decided to block down. When Dante blocked down, Mark Christie came forward, and they handed off the ball to me. I had on these shoulder pads. They were like bubble pads going to your shoulder pads, shock absorber pads. And the shock absorber pads raised my shoulder pads up a little bit too high. And when Mark Christie hit me, he came in with his helmet right on, helmet to meet on my shoulder. Mark lifted me up, back, and they put me through the turf. My shoulder went click, went to the back, and left the building. I got up with one of these moves right here and took it inside. It was over. Season was done. Now, we went to Black College. Okay, Howard University, historical Black College. At the Black College, don't nobody want to hear about who blocked down, or who didn't block who, or who didn't block what, and how they didn't block, and what happened. All they know is he put your ass out. And when you come back, you got some reckoning to do. Now, I will have you know, Mark Christie, my freshman year in college, I watched it with my own eyes. Bench press 545 pounds. Listen to what I say. He was a freshman walk-on from North Miami Beach, Florida. By the end of the first year, my man had a full scholarship. I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm telling you. Mark Christie ran through everybody on that football team. The only person that I saw that really gave him a run for his money was Rupert Grant. And Rupert Grant played fullback in the NFL. And they hit each other and then sparks and fire would fly off the helmets. So as the Lord would have it, season comes all the way around. I rehab. My first play after I rehab. No, this happened in the spring. Excuse me, this happened in the spring. So I rehabbed all summer. First play in the fall, first hit, and not even a big hit. First hit, boom, shoulder comes out of a socket. Season's done. I got to do surgery. All fall, I'm rehabbing after surgery. We come back to the spring. Now, when we get back in the spring, this is the same. I'm in the same position I was in before, in front of the same man for Oklahoma drill. And they don't even, I'm not waiting for nobody to call me because I know what time it is. I don't want nobody to call me. Mark Christie stepped out for Oklahoma drill. When Mark Christie stepped out for Oklahoma drill, I went ahead and stepped in at fullback at Oklahoma drill. And the hooping and the hollering had started. Now, was I scared at the time? No. Was I concerned for my life? Yes. Two totally different things, which I want you to understand is a lesson that you learn at fullback. You learn self-sacrifice. How it ended up had nothing to do with nothing. And for people who have ever been injured before, whenever you're injured, you got to go back to the same spot if you can, doing the same thing that you did against the same person that you got injured. Otherwise, you're never going to get over the injury. So sitting around being scared got nothing to do with nothing. One or two things was going to happen. Either this was going to go really well or it's going to go really bad again. And that was it. Now, Mark Christie lined up. I lined up. Quarterback said, hut, hiked the ball off. Mark Christie and I hit. Bam! I felt like the back of my head touched the back of my Achilles tendon. That's what it felt like. That's not what happened, but that's what it felt like. I got a zing in my back. I thought I was hit by a bolt of lightning. But I stood up, I didn't go down, and Mark Christie and we were standing right in front of each other. Jesus, as the Lord would have it, I knew what was going to happen. And the coach was like, let's run it again. Everybody hooping and hollering. Now, at this particular time, now I'm a little bit scared. Not because of Christie, because I think that I have dislodged something in my lower back that I don't believe that a carpenter can put back in place. So we get back on the line. I walk back to the line. Mark Christie says, and if you ever seen Mark Christie, now he's you got to know Mark Christie to know he's hunched up like this, and he's for the people who know him, like Brent know, his hands are like this, and he used to make himself all upset and pissed off for no reason, which is another conversation we're gonna have later about linebackers. They have to be some of the craziest people on the planet. I don't know why they're like that. They're upset for no reason. They walk around mad, frothing from the mouth. I don't know why linebackers are like that. You would think that fullbacks and linebackers are really similar. They're not similar. They have some similarities, but they're not similar. So Christie's back there. I'm thinking I need to really find a way to make sure I have some type of forward lean here so I don't hurt my goddamn back. And then I don't want to choose a side and hurt my shoulder. So I tried to creep up about another half a yard. So this 12-yard brain destruction exercise has been now reduced to about 10 and a half yards, okay? Pep Hamilton says it again. Said, hut, wham, bam! The blow-up happens. It's a quality hit from both people. I didn't win either one of them. I looked bad on both of them, but I didn't go down on either one of them. And I'm done. I go to the side, take my helmet off, take a knee. I didn't do any more Oklahoma drill the rest of the spring, but I didn't have to. Now, here are a couple lessons. Number one, don't wait for somebody to call you. Do not wait for somebody to call you. You know when it's your time. They know it's your time. The people in the set, don't wait for somebody to call you. When Mark Christie walked out there for Oklahoma drill, I went ahead and I walked. Don't nobody have to call me. Don't let nobody call you. It gets bad if somebody has to call you. Don't let anybody call you. Number two, never be afraid to line up. You can be aware. You can be aware of some of the consequences, but don't be afraid to line up. And number three, you got to be willing to sacrifice yourself so that other people can do what they need to do. Man, sometimes when you're in a marriage, you got to sacrifice yourself sometimes for your spouse. They may forget the sacrifices that you made later. That's another discussion. But you got to sometimes sacrifice yourself for your spouse, all right? And vice versa. Sometimes you got to sacrifice yourself on the job. But the one thing, and you will always have to sacrifice yourself for your children. But the one thing, man, that I really learned, the one major lesson that I learned was, man, I learned that lesson of self-sacrifice on the football field. You have to be willing to sacrifice yourself, which is why we call the offensive linemen and defensive linemen the unsung heroes, because, especially O-line, because the O-line, they're not making any tackles. Every once in a while, D-line makes some tackles, somebody calls their name. Nobody calls the O-line's name until they make a mistake. That's why they're the biggest unsung heroes on the football field. But the lesson I learned was that lesson of self-sacrifice. So that's what I have to share with you today. Man, this is Dr. Rhadi Ferguson. Listen, I hope you have a super fantastic day. And I love you, but God loves you best. Take care. Oh, I always forget to say it. I don't mind asking. I don't mind begging. Please visit www.coffeewithrhadi.com and get your book, Coffee with Rhadi, today. And please visit www.judoislife.net and get your book, Judo is Life, today. Both are free. All you're responsible for is the shipping. Jesus paid it all.